Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keeping It Real with Shana Recker. I'm really excited today to have a brand new friend. Her name's Petia Kolibova. I got that right?
Perfectly.
We are actually brand new friends. This is how awesome social media is. We've never met. We found each other through Instagram. I think you actually liked or commented on one of my posts on my Keeping It Real with Shana Recker profile. And I was checking you out and I was like, hey, you'd be a great fit for my audience. Let's do an interview. And boom, here we are. I love it. I love it. So welcome, Petia.
Thank you so much for having me. I love social media. It's so easy to use it, and not just for a business, but also on a personal level. Because like you say, you can check out the person. You can see if this person aligns with you. And if not, you just keep going. But if yes, it's a beautiful friendship right there.
I know, it's amazing. And it's just like, it's changed the business world, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit of that today, which is going to be fun. And now for you guys who are listening to this today, Petia, you guys, she is an awesome coach. She's very passionate. She helps corporate women who have been pushed down, been there, done that in the corporate world, and been playing it small due to toxic relationships or unhealed childhood trauma to create a life that is true to them and their soul purpose, which I love. And that's so aligned with what we do here. We keep it super real here, you guys. Her mission is to help women who are on the path to healing from past wounds move from their limiting beliefs and internal blocks so they can finally do what they want to do. I love it. And what feels good for them, serve women in a powerful way online. You guys, if she's not interviewing on a podcast or her own podcast, your own podcast is called Be.Strong.Minded.
Yes.
I love it. That's such a great name. If she's not working out or reading, you will find her in nature, disconnecting from the world, which we all need to do more times than we actually do, and connecting with herself. So I love that. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Shana. And I really love your work. That's why I connected with you online, because in the core, we truly all want the same. We really want to build each other up. And when you find someone who really helps other people rising, you want to be around them.
Yes, I love it. Because, they say, you're the average of the people you kind of jive around with most. And I always look for people who are, inspiring me and that are, up leveling themselves. And that's where I want to be, because that's what I want to do. Right. So yeah, I love that. And that's how I felt about you. I'm like, this woman seems amazing. I saw your profile, just so beautiful and just full of light. So we had to talk. So here we are. And one of the things that I want to share, and this is usually how we get this podcast started, is obviously you spent time in the corporate world and you've made a transition into becoming an entrepreneur and being your own boss and being a coach and supporting women. And I know that a lot of my audience is out there in that same space. I used to be in that same space, and it was like, how did that work for you? How did you get from, where you were to where you are today? I'd love to hear that story.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. The thing, it's like people look at me and like you're like, oh my gosh, I like her. She's so bright and light and so much fun and I love her energy. But it wasn't always this way. The thing is that when I was growing up back in Czech Republic, because many people are like, where is your accent from? So
I was going to ask.
You're right. Originally, I'm from Czech Republic. And then I was kind of running. I was running away my whole life. When I was 18, my stepfather, he was mentally and physically abusive of me all my life. And when I was 18, it got so bad that I just ran away with a backpack and $5 into the relationship that was even worse than what I had at home. Figure that. You just don't know what you don't know when you're going to what feels familiar and comfortable. Yeah. So when I was 18, I ran away from home and I was dragging with me already from when I was 11 years old eating disorder because my stepfather was always telling me how stupid I am, that I don't matter, don't eat, you're fat. My mom always struggling with food, dieting all her life, people pleasing everybody around her. So that was my reality. I thought it's meant to be this way. But deep inside, I was just having this feeling like there must be more. Because if there is no more, I don't want to live this way. And it got to the point when I was 18 years old, living with my abusive, boyfriend back then. It was mentally abusive and just here and there, so you cannot see any marks. Yeah. That I attempted for suicide. because I'm like, if this is it, I don't want it. And it was just so bad that I, took a sleeping pills, drank a bottle of wine, and next day I woke up in a hospital because my ex-boyfriend found me. He came earlier from work, so he found me. And from that point on, I feel like I was always running from myself, numbing with food, with wine, with overspending, shopping, because I was looking for that external rush of feeling good and giving a meaning to life. So when I was 21, I moved to London. Then I moved when I was 22 to Spain. I lived there for 4 years. And nothing seemed to satisfy me. It was like, like these instant gratifications. You live on the beach, you get a nice clothes, you're feeling good, half day on the beach, and then you go back to your reality, back to the corporate world. So that was just like really, really like painful for me. I didn't want to live in that reality. And so when I was, I believe, around 26, I moved to 40 years after I live in Spain. I moved to America, to Las Vegas, because I got a scholarship here. People are like, why did you pick Las Vegas? Vegas picked me. There's there's nothing else into it. I just got a scholarship into college. I finished my college. And I was thinking that when I will be following the path, doing the right things, I will feel right. So I went to college. I did my bachelor degree in marketing. I did my MBA. I started to work out, still with eating disorder, because you just develop body dysmorphia. Nothing is never too thin. And so overtraining, still overspending money, still being in relationships that are not serving me just because I hated to be alone. I really didn't want to be alone. Like when I was alone with my own thoughts, it's when it gets the worst, And so when I was in my college, I got a job in a corporate where I was for next 5 years. It was just a small office dedicated to fitness, and I was the social media marketing manager and office girl for like everything in a small offices. Yeah. And I was there for 5 years, and then I became entrepreneur by accident. Most of us do. Most of us do. I was like so comfortable there that I wanted to retire there. I was, getting like all the time raises and bonuses and all of these things. Well, what happens, the company starts growing so quick that they overhire people. We went from company that was 5 employees to employees over 20 people. And when you go real quick, you forget to keep the core values in. And the new people who were coming were not aligned with the core values and with the family values. They came in just for a check. And that was like really upsetting me because anything I'm doing it with a full heart. The management couldn't keep up. The old employees were pissed because they're getting less money, less bonuses because there's more people, And so it was such a toxic environment.
Turned toxic, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be there. So I started to feel this resentment and resistance. And I started to listen to podcasts. Because I didn't want to be listening to the ladies back there complaining how everything sucks, and I don't want to be there. So I started to listen to, Les Brown and the podcast about personal development and growth. Still dealing with my eating disorder, taking on the side couple fitness coaching clients. So I bring, more money in. It was just like, here and there. And I also got a couple clients. My coach, my life coach, became my first client for social media. His client got my second client. And then one day I was traveling to Chicago to visit my cousin. And because I knew I would be traveling many hours, I wanted to schedule the post for my client. Yes. So I did it on a Facebook on a corporate computer. Forgot to log out. And so my bosses spent the weekend reading my messages between my best friend, where I told her, this toxic environment is killing me. I love my job, and the people here just don't care. So over the weekend, Shana, I got fired over the email after 5 years working in a company. And I was told just, they will send me my things that
Yeah.
I don't even have to bother to pick it up because I am the toxic element, because I am being the one who is negative. So that's how I became entrepreneur. It broke my heart,
Yeah.
it broke my heart because I'm like,
You put that much time into something.
yep.
Yeah.
So that's how I became entrepreneur. I had 2 clients that I was managing their social media. I created a company a few months later called PK Media Solutions, because what I really, really wanted was for people who are in a space of healing and wellness and spirituality and personal growth to be seen and heard and really connect with their tribe. So I was super excited about it. I invested thousands and thousands of dollars in coaches, mentors, conferences. And as I was growing, my business was growing. But what I realized, when you do the work for others, they disconnect. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're doing it? I
Yeah.
don't have to do anything. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I wanted to create loyal, lasting relationship. And when I started to do the things for others, they stopped getting their ideal clients because I was doing it all.
Yeah.
They didn't show up. So I'm like, okay, 3 years later, tens and thousands of dollars invested in my company. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this. I had a company that was making money, but I was feeling like this can't be it. Like there must be more. So again, I just ask myself, what is the part that I really like about it? I got curious. Instead of judging myself.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, what is it about the things that light you up, that light you up? What is it about it? Like asking yourself those questions.
Because you know what? Like and I had always my whole life the hardest time of letting go.
Yeah.
Like releasing the grip of. That's why I had an eating disorder for 18 years, because that was the one thing that I could always control. It's the food. We want to feel like we are in control. There's so many things on the outside that you can't control. Other people and traffic and your family and all of these things are out of your control. And so that gave me a feeling of I can control something. So as I was building my company, what I also realized that I was always tired because of my bulimia. I couldn't keep up. I was exhausted. I had like really bad thoughts. And one night I'm like, if like I can't continue like this is really slowly killing me. I was exhausted and tired. And you know what's the worst? Everybody thought that my life is perfect.
On the outside.
Yeah. On the outside, I'm young. I look healthy because I had a 6-pack,
Yeah.
And nobody saw the binges and purges at night. Nobody saw the crying on the floor. Nobody saw me weeping because I was so ashamed. I felt so guilty because when you look at my life, I'm doing, great money in my corporate job. Now I have a couple clients, from my social media marketing. And I'm still not happy. Like what this girl wants.
Yeah.
So it was very exhausting. And thankfully, around 8 years ago, I found Louise Hay.
Louise Hay.
Changed my life. I love her so much. She is everything to me. She is the hope that it's never too late. She started when she was 55. She is the hope of, how sometimes you like an entrepreneur, I'm sure you can resonate with it. Sometimes it feels like you're talking to yourself and the impact you're having. It's like, there's nothing moving.
Am I the only one like that thinks that, what I'm doing is like something good? Or am I the only one that listened to that podcast episode? Or am I the only one that's,
so we're feeling like alone. And she is the hope for me that even if you're one person, you can change the world. Look at her. She changed millions and millions of people. And as she was going, she had a help, but it was always her.
Yeah.
Her love and her heart. So she changed my life. And that's how I started not only work on my business, but also working deeper on me, because I always put a Band-Aid. Yeah. I went and I was like starting to do meal prep. I did fitness competitions. I, hired a life coach and everything seemed like getting better, but that was all just Band-Aids.
Yeah.
And I never look at the root cause.
Mm-hmm.
And the root cause, it's like, I hated myself. I hated my body. I thought I'm not worthy. I thought I'm not good enough. Like, who am I to be asking people to pay me?
Yeah.
Like anyone else that's struggling with like asking for money to the clients or raising your prices, most of my clients do, because they always think that, well, I can take another course. I can hire another mentor. I can do another certification. There is always more to do. But the thing, it's like, you're enough just the way you are, because you will always be growing and learning and, like going out there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's perfect just the way it is right now. Do and work with what do you have right now. That's the thing. Yeah. And people always tell me like, oh, it's so easy for you. You're so confident. Oh, it's so easy for you. You're so courageous. You're young. You don't have kids, whatever. No, it's not. I'm working on it every single day. It never came to me given. It was never, like, oh, here you go. Like
easy. Yeah. It wasn't an easy process. We all have our struggles in different ways,
Yeah. We all have our stories.
Yeah. And what it looks like on the outside, which is, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of people either quit their businesses or they don't follow through authentically because they're so busy looking around at everybody else's business and going, oh, well, she's doing this, I should do it that way. Or this person's got this, well, I need to. It's like, no, we don't need another version of somebody else. We need you to show up authentically as you. And I don't know about you, but I find when I'm doing something, whether it be recording a podcast episode or doing a live or doing a training with my mastermind students or whatever, that it's when I connect in my heart and like talk from like me, not trying to like, teach from a book that I've read something. Like when I show up as me is the best training that I can do. It's always the best of whatever, when I just authentically show up and just talk about what's on my heart versus trying to reiterate what somebody else has said, right? Like
that's something what I'm also teaching, be unapologetically you, because you got your life experiences for a reason. You are, each of us, it's uniquely qualified to be helping others just in their own unique way. And if we are comparing ourselves with others, well, we are dimming our light, and who you're helping with that.
Yes, I know. It's so true. And so you went from doing social media management for people into coaching.
Yes, because that was the fun part. That's the thing. Like when I told you, and I know Tony Robbins, he said it, when you improve the quality of your questions, you are improving the quality of your life. So instead of asking, and trust me, I had my pity party for a few weeks when I got fired, and I was crying and I was brokenhearted, and what am I going to do? And all of these things. And then I asked myself a different questions, not why this happened to me, but okay, what is the lesson? What is the gift in this situation? And that's something that I always ask myself, like, is this still turning me on? What can I learn from this? And what is the best next step? Because sometimes the best next step is just wake up and put your face on, put your clothes on and keep going. Because not every day will be super productive, filled with reaching out and calls and connecting. Some days you just want to get through, and it's okay.
Give yourself that grace. I always find that too. It's like some days I'm like, I've done this before on social media where it's like I just put a post and it's like I can't social media today. Like some days it's like I there's nothing that is gonna be very valuable for you today. Like there's just nothing here today, and that's okay, right? That you have those days, and to just give yourself that grace and don't put the pressure on yourself when you're having those moments, right?
And that's the thing, that when we release, when we let go, it's when the best things come. So when I release the expectations of how my business and my life should look like, I just really, really focus on the what, and I forget about the how and the when. That's the thing, because when you know what you want, then it doesn't matter how you get there, because there is so many things you don't know, the people, the opportunities. Just know what you want and keep sharing about it, even if it sounds like a crazy idea. So that's what happened with my coaching. There was a beautiful transition with one of my clients. I love her so much. She was just like, a one who showed me what's possible. Because in the past, I usually I didn't have any contracts, I didn't have any packages. You can just sign up month to month, and then people stay with me for a month or 2 or 3, and then flake out and didn't pay and pay late. And I'm like, why? I don't want this. So I started to work on my ideal avatar. Who really turns me on? Who do I want to be working with? Not what I'm good at and what I can do, because I can do the social media. That's not fun for me.
Yeah.
So I really got very clear about what do I want and who do I want it to do it with. And then everything started to unfold. I got a girl, she texted me and she was like, I found your business card in a healing center where I used to be doing workshops for social media and then teach guided meditation too. And she was like, I was carrying your business card for months and months in my wallet. And normally I don't do that. You get a business card and you throw it away. She was like, I just saw it and I really want to start working with you. I'm like, okay. So let's grab a coffee. Let's talk. What is your vision? What do you need help with? So we start working together. And she was the first one who paid me upfront for 6 months.
Isn't that a good feeling?
I'm like, oh my God. Because, my lover, he's a podcaster and he's a business mentor. So he was like, okay, what are your packages? So I was like, what packages?
Yeah.
Like, what's that? And he was like, so do you have like retainer or what do you, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So he sat me, I'm like, what contracts? So he sat me down and he was like, let's do it. So we did 3, 6, and 12 months packages before I meet with this girl. And she signed up for 6 months. She paid upfront. I was like, oh my gosh. I started to help her with the social media, but a different way. I didn't do the work for her. I told her what to do.
Yeah.
And within 2 months, she got as many clients, ideal clients, her tribe soul clients. She made more money than she paid for the 6 months.
Yeah.
That was my first proof of what's possible. So I realized, and she was my last one for social media. Because what I find out, it wasn't about the strategies and the business tips I was giving her. It was about how is she feeling?
Yeah.
It's about her mindset. And so when I shifted her belief in herself about what's possible, being really unapologetic about who she is, she started to attract the women who really resonated with her. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fun. This is what I want to do. So I let go last year of my PK Media Solutions, social media marketing company, and I'm really focusing only on life and mindset coaching. Yeah. I still help my clients with social media presence because my girls are going usually from corporate to coaching, or there is a bigger mission for them. They want to be serving others. I have one girl who is an image consultant, one that is architect. They're not going to be coaches, but their mission is to empower other people.
Yeah. And they still need to create a brand around themselves online. That's the thing. Like whether you're in network marketing or you're a real estate agent or whatever, these days you have to have a presence, a brand online. And more, I believe people want to see the real person behind the brand, not the logo in the corporate space and the office building and all the things. They want to know who you are and what are you doing on a day-to-day basis, like with Insta stories and taking all those things. And I think that's awesome. I love that. And one of the things you talked about, I mean, I wrote a ton of notes here as we're going, but one of the things I wanted to touch back on, because I think this is so important for those of you guys who are listening to this right now and you've had an idea, or you've had a thought about wanting to show up as an online coach, or you have a story that you want to share and help people with, that, don't not do it because, or don't not explore it because you're not certified as a, whatever kind of coach, right? Are you certified as No. Now, I'm not going to say if you want to be a doctor, of course, there's certain things you have to be certified in for those things. But if you want to be able to help and serve people to go through something that you've been through and you have experience in that, to know that you can create something around that without having to have certain things in place. Like
very often we are using it as an excuse, like I gotta get my certification. And I have clients who are like over certified. They have like 3 different certificates and they don't go out there and then don't do it. I didn't invest in certification, that it's one thing, but I had mentors, I had coaches, I invested tens and thousands of dollars. So I don't have I'm certified Qigong, like teacher. And like I have different certifications. I did meditation coaching certifications. Nobody ever asked me for anything. I am an intuitive coach.
Yeah.
I am empath. I feel people, and we all have this gift that I'm not unique. If you tune into the others, if you really want to listen, and if you really care, you're empath yourself. You can feel people's energy. You see when somebody walks through the door, how they are feeling.
Yes, you know.
So
I do agree. But I do love that you touched on the fact that, because I'm somebody too who I don't have a coaching certificate. I have experience. I have experiences, but I did hire a mentor. I have been part of multiple masterminds.
Yes.
And in those experiences, I've learned and grown and I can take that and turn around and help somebody else with it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that you don't have to have a specific certificate in coaching, let's say, in order to be a coach, but you do need to have mentors and people in your life to help you. I always say your coach should always have a coach.
You have to, because if not, honestly, you're out of integrity. Like, you're telling me I should be paying you for your coaching, but you're not paying someone. It's like, I'm sorry, but this is like overweight personal trainer or a hairdresser who has like really messy, dirty hair, or a girl who is doing nails and she has bitten nails. No, you're not going to tell me what to do because you are not doing it. I'm someone who is walking the talk. I'm sharing everything. Like, I have my boundaries. I have my personal life. I'm not sharing like you do you, and that's the beauty. You do you, and by sharing you, people either will love you or not. I come from a place of recovering people pleaser. I would do anything for anyone. Like, do you want me to cook? Do you want me to clean? Do you want me to drive you at midnight or 3 a.m. to the airport? I will do it just so you love me. I was like a puppy, you know?
Yeah.
And very often, women, we have it because we are, like, at least me in my culture in Czech Republic, we are raised away. You're here to serve others. You're going to be mom. You're going to be wife. You're going to have kids. You will sacrifice your life. That's why you're brought here. No, we are so much more than that. If that brings you light and you want to do it, go for it. But don't do it because you should. You're expected to.
You have to.
My whole life, I knew I'm meant for more. And that's also like, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but next month I'm doing my first live event in Las Vegas called Meant for More, because so many women are settling for less and they have so much fear. Like you mentioned, we think we need more to be more in order to help others. What do you need? It's just to be 1 or 10 or 20 steps ahead of someone, because you had the struggles you overcame in your life. You don't need to be perfect. Nobody else. And people who are like, oh, you know, I struggle with perfectionism. No, that's a BS. Because the thing, it's like, there is not such a thing as perfect. Perfect compared to what? Or who? Like, perfect Instagram, perfect certification, perfect life. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. You're going to be going for that. I love this saying that I've heard this before, you know, the grade 1 always looks up to the grade 2, right? So like you said, being a few steps ahead, it's just like, I've experienced something and I know how to get through it. So now I want to take that and I want to help people do the same, right? So if that's something you've been through and you want to serve people in that way, know that you can, and that there are, like, you can show up and do that if that's what drives you and that's what makes you passionate.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like, you don't need to have it all together. Like, people,
nobody does.
Right?
Nobody does.
They're like, oh, it's so easy for you. You have it all together. I was like, what? You should see me weeping on a floor when I have my days that I just want to eat popcorn and ice cream. I don't want to go out anywhere. And that's the thing. You got to embrace it all.
Yeah.
You gotta embrace it. It's not just like rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, because if it is, we will get bored out of our mind anyway. But you gotta embrace you. And I know I'm surrounded with the tribe. I created a tribe of women and friendships, mainly online and mainly through my podcast, that I would never be able to do like without it. And also, I have a life partner who loves me just because of me. I can be badass entrepreneur. Like, you should see how proudly he's supporting me. Like, she's such a badass babe. She's changing other women's lives. And he was like, babe, you're such an incredible coach. You know, before my session with my clients, he's pumping me up. And when I have the days that there is this little girl who wants to just be crying and weeping and I don't want to be adulting today, he will hug me. He knows
Yeah.
that this too shall pass.
Yeah.
You gotta be surrounded with people like this, and you gotta get naked, girl. I don't mean clothes-wise. Please don't do that. Unless it's your profession, no judgment here.
Yeah.
But the thing, it's like, you gotta open your heart. And it's something that I had to do in my personal life and business too.
Yeah.
Because no matter if you are in business, if you are in network marketing, there are other million of people doing exactly the same thing like you're doing. No one is like you. Nobody has the same experiences, same point of view. And only when you open your heart and you're vulnerable and open to receive and get hurt, whatever it is, only then you can really build a fulfilling life.
Yeah. And share. And that's the thing. Like, we go through these struggles not to sit and suffer in silence. We go through these struggles so we can learn something and then teach what we've learned to other people. And that's one of the things that I just like. It's like, the more I shared, you know, my husband and I recently went through some financial stuff, and it was just kind of a crappy, like, you know, 3-year span, and we're just on the other side of it now. And it was like, you know, there was a lot of shame and like things around it, but it's like, the more I kept trying to hide from that, the more difficult it became. And it wasn't until I finally just like shared my story about what we had been through that I had so many people messaging me and saying like, I've been there, I'm where you are, like, and was able to actually like have conversations about, okay, like, I get it, like, here's what you can do, and give them like tips and advice. And that was freeing for me to be able to like unleash that. It's like taking that heavy weighted jacket off of that, you know, that experience. And so knowing that you're not put through these tests in life so that you can sit and struggle in silence, that you're put through these things so that you can show up and help and serve in whatever way that is for you. You know, like, for me, it's an online platform that I love to use, obviously for you as well. But there's lots of ways that you can do it. So
yeah, I love it. And that's the thing, like, when we show up in as we really, really are, we give other people permission to do the same, because people don't connect with perfection. People connect with real. And trust me, Shana, I still have that like imposter syndrome and struggle. And oh, these coaches are so much better. She's doing like, I'm hosting my first live event, and you should see me. Like, I went to this rabbit hole of like, oh, she already did 7, this one did already 8, and it's so amazing. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I just want a woman to change their lives. That's all. I was telling my lover, I was crying. I was like, I just want to have a pretty dress and hug women and talk to them and show them what's possible. Why do I have to deal with the legal stuff and contracts and speakers changes? I don't want to do this. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we all have these moments and comparing. And the thing is that when you surround yourself with people who are like-minded and who will lift you up in the moments when you doubt yourself, those are the moments. And it can be even just like on your Instagram account. Yeah. Like, I share so openly, and sometimes I'm like, oh, like, this is a lot to share. Yeah. Like, you're really like going out there. Then I have women messaging me like, wow, I thought it's just me. Yeah. I'm like, girl, it's never just you. It's impossible to be 7-8 billion people, whatever, how many we are, and be just you going through something. There is someone who already went through this. So be open and share, because you never ever know who needs to hear your message. Yeah. Because on a days that I want to be hiding the most, when I show up, it's when I make the biggest difference. Yeah. I know, it's so true, right? When you kind of like push yourself and do those things. And I think that that's the thing. Like, you just have to know what fires you up, know what it is that you want to share. And sometimes it takes time to figure that out, right? Like, we don't always hit the mark the first time we put ourselves out there. I started out as a network marketing coach and realized that's not really where I shine the best, right? And there's transitions. You started in social media and realized, you know, that wasn't for you, but it led you to where you are today. And so for those of you guys who are listening and you're wanting to take that step, like, start with something. Start with something and then take that, because when you take that step, the next step will show up. And the next step will show up. So it's like, even going back to you, like when you said, like, you got Vegas picked you for university. It's like, it wasn't maybe what you exactly wanted, but that's what showed up. And then you took the step, but then the next step showed up. And even when you got your job, lost your job, it's like,
that was another step that you had to take and it led you somewhere. So I love that. And I think more and more people need to just trust the intuition and look for the signs and
Just go, honestly, just go, because when we take the first step, we are creating the momentum. And it's the contrast when you really realize this is for me, this is not. Like through the relationship, like love relationship that I went through, like I'm happily divorced now, but like I was following the right steps, like I was telling you, during the school, I got married and I thought it like being good girl will bring me good life, but it wasn't that way. But thanks to the contrast when I see, because my past relationship, I was cheated on, I was abused, I was like taking care of men financially, I was doing it all, taking care of the house, having 3 jobs and maintaining men. So I know it's so like women, they're like, you did what? and that's me, because I didn't feel like I'm worthy. I didn't love myself and appreciated myself for who I am. But experiencing this really led me to have a clarity of what I want. I want a loyal, fun relationship that it's nurturing. We are both growth oriented. We are both, making impact in this world. We are both healthy and all of these things, because I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And you will do the same in your business. When I was managing people's accounts, I was doing great money. It was so much work. Girl, I was working 7 days a week. I swear, like 18 hours a day. I was like, I just created a job for myself. It's even worse than being employed, because you cannot shut it off. When you're employed, you close the door. Usually not me. I always bring the work home. But you close the door and you're done. When you're an entrepreneur, it never shuts off unless you shut off. So create the momentum by taking the step and really, like you say, listen to your intuition. And one thing that I did last year, an exercise that changed my life and business completely, was creating my core values. When you create your core values, you realize who you are, and anything that doesn't align with your core values has to go. Sorry, some people, you will love them from far away. It's not because they're bad people. They just don't align with what you're creating right now. So for those who are listening, who want to do this exercise, it's super simple and easy. You can just take a big sheet of paper. On one side, you will write down the things what you don't stand for. On the other side, what do you do stand for? So you will do, I don't stand for hate, I stand for love. I don't stand for cheating, I stand for loyalty. So as you go this way, you will do 1 and 1. You do 20 of them. In the end, when you're done, take like a marker or something, or just circle it, the 3 that you do stand for. So I was an overachiever, I wrote 30 and I picked 4. But for me, what came up, what I stand for loyalty, I stand for integrity, I stand for generosity, and always learning.
Oh, I love that.
All of the people in my life have it. All of my clients, they have these core values. My lover has these core values. My friends, everybody has these core values. If you don't have them, you're not in my inner circle. You are not going to be close to me. You can have different values, and that's okay. But once I realized it, I broke up my past relationship of 5 years. I let go of my business. I let go of my clients. I created a new business. I started a podcast. I started a TV show, and I'm doing my life event now, because all of these things are aligned with who I really am. Once you know who you are, it's so easy to show up.
I love that exercise. That's awesome. That's a great one. I need to actually do that myself. It's funny because you think you know what your values are, but until you actually start listing in that way, you realize, what you have on that list, and then what are the ones that are most valuable to you.
That's non-negotiable, that you just can't live without it. The 3 that you can't live without. And like I said, for everybody, it will be different. Well, once you realize it, when you do the inventory of your life, things will be changing.
Well, and it's funny because I always talk with my clients about creating that avatar of your ideal client. And the thing is that your ideal client is often a former version of you. So when you know who you are and what your values are, that can help you create that avatar. And then when you're attracting in people who are, that fit those values and fit that ideal client profile, you're going to have the best business relationships. You're going to have, so that your clients are going to have great success because you guys are on the same page. You're working the same vein. It's beautiful.
It is so beautiful. Like all of my clients that I have now that I switched when I really align with my core values, they're like my sisters.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I love them so much. And it's, you know what? It's so easy.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah. It's easier to work.
It just gets to show up as me. And like you said, like, no, I'm not certified. And I do have a mentor that I'm investing a lot of money and time because I believe in investing in ourselves. So what I'm learning, I am part of a mastermind. I'm going to conferences. I have my mentor. So what I'm learning, I'm passing on my girls. Yeah. That's the thing, because you will always keep growing.
Learning is to share what you've learned. And I think that's how you know you've learned something, is you can teach it. And when you can take that in, and I 100% totally believe that. And one of the things I was going to mention too is that I don't know if you're familiar. I'm sure you are, with Abraham Hicks.
Oh, I'm obsessed with him. I saw Esther last month in San Diego in person.
Did you? Yeah, she's amazing. If you guys aren't familiar, go onto YouTube, look up Abraham or Esther Hicks. And she's always said, you know what you want by knowing what you don't want. And you have
the contrast.
Yes, you have to go through life. You have to have experiences so you can figure those things out. And I know for me, like, I had to go and be a corporate graphic designer for 15 years to realize I didn't want to be in corporate anymore, that I wanted to have the flexibility and the freedom to, decide what I wanted to do. It didn't mean that I didn't love working. I love working. I'm a self-proclaimed workaholic, but I wanted to do it in my own terms, and I had to go through that. One of the things I wanted to ask you, because what you brought up, about that whole bringing work from home, being an entrepreneur, it never leaves us. How do you create boundaries for yourself with your business? Like what habits have you brought in, or what have you done to help, be able to have that time for self-care and downtime and all of that stuff? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
That's so huge. That's such an incredible question, because for anyone who is in business, it's so hard because we are working even harder because now it's ours. Yes. So when I started, I did it the whole wrong way. I was working all the time. I was falling asleep with my phone, waking up with my phone. I had anxiety. I was feeling frustrated, and it was so bad. So the first thing that I have created, it was years ago, it's a morning routine. It's non-freaking negotiable. My phone, it's on airplane mode. If somebody died, I'm sorry, but I cannot help you anyway. Like, call 911. Yeah. And it's true, because I was always sleeping with my phone. But if my grandma, she lives in Czech Republic, I call her every single morning. Mm-hmm. That's, part of after my morning routine. Family, it's everything to me. Mm-hmm. But if I'm always on my phone, I'm not serving anyone. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I started, the phone cannot be in my room. It cannot be on the reach. It's in a bathroom. So I was sleeping with it, and it was on just like for favorites. If you have kids, if you have, older parents you are taking care of, have it on favorites or on repeated call. People, if it's urgent, they will call you 2-3 times. It will get through you. And anyway, you will feel it. When something is wrong, you feel it. Yeah. So that's the first thing. No phone in a bedroom. At least 1 hour before sleep, no technology or blue light glasses, non-negotiable. And in the morning when I wake up, I meditate, I journal, I read, I have a breakfast in bed, unless I'm fasting. I do cleanse day once a week. Yeah. So if I don't do that, then I will have my black coffee in bed. Yeah. Non-negotiable. You have to start your morning with you. Yeah. Because if not, you will be reactive instead of responsive, and you're not going to be your best self. Mm-hmm. So morning routine has to be, and also if you want, I can share with your audience. I have a freebie that it's, sharing. Super sure, because we're all busy. My morning routine, my routine right now, it's hour or hour and a half. Not everybody have that. So the one that I've created on my freebie, it's 15 minutes. Anybody can do that. Yeah. So I will send you the link.
I love that.
And then, something that I started new recently, and I'm embracing it like a crazy. I have 1 full day off. If you
Mhm.
cannot do one full day off, you get to have at least half day off, and it has to be nature or fun, no technology. I call my grandma, Saturdays are my days, you know, you cannot get to me.
Yeah.
And I just started to do it. So my clients, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you, because they know I'm always working.
Yeah. We're always there.
Yeah, we're always there. But luckily, like, the thing is that you teach others how you want to be treated the way you treat yourself.
Yes.
You treat yourself. So if your client texts you at 10 p.m. and you're responding, it's on you. My
Yes.
clients never do that.
Mhm.
If there is something they want to share, they will do it on the Instagram, because they know I will check it the next
Office
day.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, for me, my girls are in corporate world. So I do work on Sundays. Sunday, it's my busiest day, because for them, it's the best to work on Sundays with me. But Saturdays are my days. We go to nature, we go to hike, I take my dog, I go for rollerblades, and I call my grandma in the morning, then I go on airplane mode.
Yeah.
You cannot get to me. Like, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think like we have to actually literally turn our phones off sometimes, because as entrepreneurs, that's how a lot of us really are building our businesses, is through, and dealing with our clients is through, you know, Facebook Messenger. I get Marco Polos, I've got Voxers, I've got like all the things, right? And it's hard sometimes to turn it off.
Turn it off.
And it is like, I do agree that, you know, weekends for me, because I have kids, and some of, like, my youngest is 8. So weekends, even though it's so easy to slip into your office and answer a couple messages, or, you know, craft that email for next week, or do those things, I really, like, this past weekend did nothing. I didn't even step in my office. Like, besides tidying it up, I bought myself a couple new plants. So I came in my office, put those in, but other than that, like, I was not in here, and it felt so good. Like, it just was like, you know, when you just need to take that time, right? So you have to listen to your body, know when you need to take that time, and then take it, right? Like,
be honest with yourself. I told my client, like, non-negotiable, you need to have a 3 hours, because she's in corporate and she's building her coaching business now. Plus she's doing a leadership academy. So she's really busy. So it's like one full day off. It's not happening right now. I'm like, if you don't have 3 hours off in a week just for yourself, no technology, you cannot sustain it. Your body will rebel against you. That's what was happening to me in the past. I was sick every month. I would work 7 days a week, and then I would get like, for 2 days, like, not sick, but so worn out. I would be so tired. I couldn't do anything. My body forced me to take it. So you either take it, or your body will force you. And when I started to take care of myself, I don't have any allergies. I haven't been sick for like last 2 years, nothing at all. And I can feel it in my body. I'm warning down. I'm like, okay, I'm stopping. I'm listening. And that's the thing. You got to listen.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that. And the thing is there are seasons in your business. Like, I have seasons when I'm in a launch season. It's like, I am busier. I have to show up every day. I am, you know, sharing and, you know, all of those things. And so there are going to be times where maybe it's not always perfect, but just to be, like you said, aware, like, even in a launch season, it's like, if I'm feeling completely drained and I'm like yipping and, you know, snapping at my kids and all of those things, I know it's time to just go upstairs and take a 20-minute nap. Like, or just lie down, throw on a meditation and close your eyes for 20 minutes and reset. It's like the reset button. Minimum, you know what I mean? So.
And that's the thing, like you said, I don't believe in balance in life, because I feel like balance, it's a flat line, and flat line means that you will never achieve it. Stop chasing life and work balance. It doesn't exist. Like you said, it's a seasons. Like I have seasons that it's easier. I have like full roster of my clients, you know, everything is good. I have pre-recorded batch my podcast. I have more time. I can travel. And then right now, my live event, it's next month. So it's freaking crazy. It's so crazy, because it's just me. I'm organizing it all. And I'm going live like 4 times a week with other women, while doing my lives, while promoting the event, while coordinating speakers, sponsors. Like, you can't imagine. I'm like, why the heck I'm doing this to myself? Then I step back. I'm like, okay, Petia, this is not for you. This is for the other women. Like, you got this.
Yes. But don't you find that when you're in that you still love it, even though it's crazy? And that's how you know you're doing the right thing.
No, I do. I love it. And I can't wait. Like, I'm scared to death. You can't imagine. I'm like, oh, why am I doing it? It's like, I'm scared of like, I don't know what, but it's just like this fear of the unknown, of like not doing the best you could. Like, I would do my best, but like, what if somebody has different expectations? But I know I'll just set intention. And the women that already got their ticket, because we have early bird ending in 3 days, so now the sales are like really rolling in. And then
I love it.
It's in 5 weeks. So the women who already got their tickets, I was like, oh my gosh, those are really like my soul sisters. Like, I love it. It's incredible.
Well, and it's one of those things where you're like, they've got their tickets. Like, I have to show up now. Like, I have to actually do this now because people bought tickets and coming.
I'm like, oh, it's happening. And you know what? Like, I got an inspired idea because live events changed my life. I don't know if you go to live events, but when I went, that's when everything changed. I'm like, oh my gosh, if they can do it, I can do it. And it's not here in Vegas. Like, I got to do this. Like, women get to experience this. So I'm like, and I'm crazy enough to tell my boyfriend, I was like, oh, honey, I'm thinking to do live event. And okay, by when? Okay. And he's putting it in the calendar. He put it in a schedule. So he like not last year, it's like 4 months ago, I was like, okay, you're doing it. Let's do it. So instead of preparing for my live event for like a year, like normal people do, I'm like, oh, I can do it in 4 months. Why not? So right now I am in like launch event season, which is crazy. And I still take my day off.
Yeah. And that's good because you're going to be more effective when you do that. You're going to show up better. You're going to have better ideas. It's going to work out better than if you try and just drain the battery, because you're just not going to get anywhere with that. So then
how can I show up for others if I'm not showing up for myself? That's the part of my core values, integrity.
Yeah.
Like, everything I'm doing, it's in integrity. What do you see? It's what is. I'm not going to shut this and be like mean witch. This is who I am, No, it's like if you see me off or on the camera, I do the things that I believe in.
Mm-hmm. No, that's amazing. And that's the whole point, right? Like, for those of you guys who are listening, who are thinking like, if you're unhappy in what you're doing, or you're just, whatever it is, like, go back to those questions, ask yourself, what lights me up, what fires me up, and then find a way, however that is for you, to take a step towards that. Maybe it's going to your first live event yourself. Maybe it's going to, like what, event like what you're hosting, where it's women gathering together and trying to be better and learn from each other. Or maybe it's, start listening to a podcast that is, down that vein. Whatever it is, just take the step.
Danette May.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love her. She was on my podcast and she got me her book, The Rise. And one of the chapters, I love it so much. It's called Following the Butterflies. I love butterflies. I have them everywhere. Like, my lover, he calls me butterfly goddess because I have them everywhere. And when I'm gifting something to my clients, it always had a little butterfly on it too. But she says, follow the butterfly. And it's mainly about following your curiosity. You got to follow what you're curious about and what lights you up. And it doesn't have to make sense because it's something new, that it's out of the radar, out of something you never experienced. You want to change your life, you got to start first with yourself.
Yeah. And you have to know that it's a process, right? Like, it's not like one day you're going to go, okay, I really want to go and be a coach and teach about this because I went through this. Well, there is a process to it. You've got to it took me 2 years to go from the idea that I had to actually, stepping it out and then actually hiring the mentor and then actually starting to do the work. It was a process for me. I had to work through that personally and mentally and a lot of things. So know that it's not necessarily going to happen overnight. And as entrepreneurs, as I'm 3 years into my business and I'm still waiting for that magic moment where everything explodes. And
me too.
Right? And that's the thing, you hear about Rachel Hollis, like 8 years as a plugging it out before she finally got her first, best-selling book and all the things that she's experiencing now. So, follow the tugs, find the curiosity, follow the butterfly, which is so funny because my symbol, like my universal symbol, when I know I'm in alignment or I'm on track, is a blue butterfly. So
no way.
That's why I noticed your necklace as soon as we got onto this.
My lover, he got me, well, I'm not going to be bringing it now, but it's right behind the door. He gave me for our anniversary a frame that it's only blue butterflies and our picture in the middle.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's my symbol, is the blue butterfly. And so I know when I see blue butterflies when I'm out, like to me, it's like the universe is saying, okay, things are going good. You're on the right path. You know, there's like that universal symbol. So that's so funny. But yeah, it's just that, just follow those things and take some steps and try some things and see what lights you up and see where it takes you. Because here's the thing, if you're not growing, you're going backwards, right? Like, and nobody wants to slide backwards. If you're not growing, you're dying. So you've got to, if you're not happy in what you're doing, if you're feeling unfulfilled, if you're waking up every day and you hate going to the 9 to 5 or whatever the thing is, you've got to, you know, now you said you've got to find a tribe and work through it. Now do you have a Facebook group?
Yes, I do. It's called From Corporate to Coaching.
There you go. I love it. So you have that Facebook group, so you can find communities like that online to help start taking some of those steps. And even if you're just a fly on the wall in those groups and just watching and listening and seeing what's happening, that's a step.
Yes, it is. It is. And it's just like, show up for yourself, do something differently, ask for help. It's like, you know, it's ask and it's given, but that's the thing. We get to ask, you know, what's the worst case that can happen? No? Okay, next.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always like, this is your life. Like, this right now is your life. Like, there isn't another one that you get when this one's over. Like, you're in your life right now. And it's also your life. Like, you get to call the shots. And so what are you going to do with this life that you have? And how are you going to show up for you and not worry about what everybody else is going to think, and not worry about if you know, like any of that other outside bullshit stuff. Like, what do you want and how are you going to make it happen in this life? And I'm a true believer that you've got to take the risks in order to get the rewards. I love it. So this has been so amazing, my friend. I love it. Even though we literally just met like an hour ago on this
Isn't it amazing? Like how we attract who we really want. It's amazing.
I love it. I love it. Now you have a lot of places and spaces people can find you. So you have the Facebook group. So remind me what that's called again and let us know. I'll put all of this in the show notes as well.
Yeah. And I will send it to you because I should have done it before. So thank you so much for your patience.
Send me all the links. Yeah, go ahead.
The Facebook group, it's From Corporate to Coaching. That I just launched it like a couple of weeks ago, you know, but it already has incredible women in it. And I love, and you know it, hanging out on my Instagram, which is just my first name and my last name, Petia Kolibova. I will give
we'll get that in the links.
We'll put it in a link, but that's where you can find everything. You know, my podcast, my Meant for More event, everything is there just in a link in my bio.
And the Made for More event is in Las Vegas. So if any of you guys are in Las Vegas who are listening to this and you're thinking, man, I should go to that, listen to that tug, you guys. That tug is telling you something. You got to listen to those tugs and stretch yourself and go to those. I remember going to my first event. I'm actually going to a mastermind next weekend that I'm scared to death to go, you know, in person. I have to get out of my comfort zone, be around other entrepreneurs that I like, you know, that are up here in my eyes, and you know, but I know it's going to change me in the most positive way. So go to those events, you know, and join the groups, and we're going to find you on Instagram. And if you guys are listening to this episode right now and something has impacted you, whether something Petia said or myself, you know, screenshot this and put it in your Insta stories and tag us so that we can give you some love back. And I love to know that what we're sharing on here is impacting people. And that's the best way to share it too, is just through Instagram stories. I love seeing all of those come in. So this has been fabulous, my friend. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to listen to this. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon.